Today on Focus on Investing, we receive a request from subscriber Jose Contreras who asks, what's happening with Bit Brothers Limited? Time to find out, time to get focused.
Time to get focused with Focus on Investing.
Welcome to Focus on Investing, where we teach you technical analysis so that you can make money in the stock market. We release these videos as soon as we record them. So if you've received a notification to see this video, then these opportunities are probably still available. If you don't want to miss out on any of the opportunities shown here on the videos, then make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to receive notifications. All right. And if you guys want to join us in preparing to have a successful 2023, then make sure you go over to focusoninvesting.io. There we will teach you all of the secrets and tips and tricks on how to analyze the stock markets and how to spot opportunities before they explode so that you can get in on these opportunities and make money in the stock market. All right. With all that said, let's get the proceedings proceeding this evening. So today we're looking at Bit Brothers Limited, ticker symbol BTB, and we've actually really already analyzed this chart before. If you go into our archives, you'll see that we had an original, review of this. You see this earlier massive spike in price, a few times, one here in the 16th November and one here in the 4th of October 2022. So we've revisited this before, but this is again as a recap. So if you want to go and see the original video, go ahead and check that out in our archives. But again, we've been requested to review it again as, according to Jose, it's popping. So we're going to take a bit of a deeper look. So how do you go about analyzing a chart like this? Well, the first thing we always like to do, we always like to get an overall look at, what the price, pattern is, or the shape of price is. We like technical analysis because, what happened in the past is likely to happen in the future, and price is our biggest indicator, right? So the shape of price gives us, first indication of what it's doing. So up, so we're not really bullish. Price isn't going down, so we're not bearish. Price is more than anything going sideways. So we're looking at kind of an overall sideways shape. But remember, we're quite zoomed out on this chart. We're seeing quite a long date range. We're going all the way from, June 2021 up until today. So we're quite zoomed out in the charts. Remember, whenever you zoom out in the charts, it always scales it to the biggest peak. So our biggest peak is here, which is quite big compared to this area here. So these areas here look quite flat, but I bet when we zoom in, we're going to see a bit more peak. So, always bear that in mind, that whatever resolution you're looking at these charts is going to affect what the shape or the pattern of the chart is. So we're just looking at an overall view so we can get kind of a bit of a history of what the chart and price movement has done in the past. So you can see before, previously it was moving sideways, movement up and down in price. Here we're seeing a spike here, spike here, spike here, spike here. So quite a few spikes, and then we have a massive spike as we spoke about earlier, which was on Tuesday, the 16th of November. And this is, create probably our most recent high here at the 2.9995 area. Just about, you might say it's a 3. We got to the 3 area. And this is where we had the spike. And since then, we've seen price just that. You can see price moving on the way down. And then we look like we've got this flat area before this dip down again here at the 25th of August. And then we can see price kind of going decent. Let's zoom closer into more recent time frame to get a better idea of what it's been doing. You see how this price shoots up as soon as we zoom more into the scale, as I predicted, but again, it's still, it's still ranged. It's not really flat, but it's ranged. If we draw our channel, we could either draw the channel from up here or we could draw it from down here. I'm going to draw it from down here because most of the price movement seems to be in this range. And you can see why the pivot support levels come in handy, because if we just draw from these green pivot resistance lines to these red pivot support lines, it actually draws our channel for us. It gives us a great indication. It occurs because of all of the peaks from all of these candlesticks that we've been having, these long wicks off of the candlesticks have kind of formed a line, and these are acting as a level of support and resistance. So if we look, we can see that price is basically bouncing from our resistance and our support level, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we're seeing a kind of consistent channel, and then we see a drop down in price. Now, remember, we saw that before. We saw price going sideways, and then we saw a dip down in price. So again, this is why it's good to look at the history, because it gives us a bit of an indication what's going to happen, in the future. So we saw it happen again here, sideways movement, and then price dip down and drop down in price. We had that dip down, and then we had a bit of bearish movement to the downside, and then we kind of found a sort of base. But even the base is, even though this is a bearish price movement, we're still seeing that this line or this base is kind of in the range of this kind of bearish price movement. Quite strange chart pattern. But we had this kind of bearish movement, and then boom, massive spike on the 4th of October. We see this massive spike of bullish price movement. But look where the price movement went up to. Back to our channel range. If you look at the resistance level of our channel, we can see that price rose all the way up to the level of the top of our channel, our resistance level, and then came back down. So again, this is why it's good to understand where the established resistance and support levels are on the charts. And again, why these pivot indicators are important. Again, you can get access to these pivot indicators from focusoninvesting.io. And this gives you an indication ahead of time where price is likely to move to. And then we see after this previous spike, let's zoom in more into current, time frame. Saw this spike, and then again, price again. So this is a trend we noticed with this chart. It's flat price movement, maybe a spike, and then a tank to the downside. So you see this tank to the downside, kind of flattish. It's actually sloping here, but it's relatively flat. Spike up, and then we see back down again, flat price movement, and then we're seeing a bit of a spike again. But when we look at our most recent spike, look where the spike of price has come to. Again, come back down to our level of support. See between these two ranges, the range of we've done our bottom of our channel here and this, pivot support line. If we put our cursor right, in fact, let's draw a line there. We can see exactly where price movement is coming to. Now, remember, we've had this line all the way back from the beginning of the chart where we've got this area highlighted, and we can see where price of today is coming right down to our pivot support and resistance levels. So again, another reason why these levels are important, right? So overall price, movement is not really bullish. It's not really bearish. We're actually looking at a chart that's moving sideways. So sideways price movement. If we look at the overall chart, if we look at our our averages, are moving averages that here in our channel, our sideways channel, we see that price of the moving averages is trading the channels. Now, we always remember that the 200 simple moving average is always going to be delayed behind the 20 and the 50. So this is going to be the last one to come to the party, right? But we can see that these ones are in the channel. Then as the price movement drops down, we can see that price drops below the moving averages again. So indicating a bearish indicator. But again, over time, these will, as we move back sideways, we will see that price will again, the moving averages will catch back up to price. So you see this spike. So we can see that the spike is actually spiked not only above the 20 simple moving average and the 50 simple moving average, but spiked above the 200 simple moving average, right? So if we're looking at the moving averages, we've got actually a bullish indicator, right? So the overall shape of price is sideways, possibly bearish, as we see these dip down slope, but we're actually looking at a bullish indicator alignment there. Ideally, we'd like to see alignment between, all of our indicators in one direction, either all bullish or or all bearish. So all bearish or all bullish, right? Tongue twisters. So we're not looking at correlation here. We're looking at, one indicating bullish, one indicating bearish. All right, so let's move to filter here. There we go. And our trend filter basically just tells us what is the trend of price movement. So again, again, we can see here, generally it's been, you know, bearish. If we've got these the red trend filter indicates that price is bearish. And so we see that generally the price is bearish in trend, but then it does spike up to bullish. And then we can see over the most recent time period, as we've gone on this little run since, I guess you could say from the 21st, 22nd of November, this has been a bullish price run. So again, another indicator of bullish price movement. So we've got, you know, the moving averages and the trend filter indicating bullish, but the overall price indicating bearish. Let's take off our trend filter and look at the most recent, you know, time period and what the actual candlesticks are saying. So again, mostly, you know, red candlesticks. We see again, it's kind of aligning with what we saw with the trends, right? Mostly red, but the odd green candlestick coming in. But because we're moving a lot of sideways movement, you're going to see a lot of back and forth between the green and the red. But I wouldn't even say it's a bull and a bear fight, right? Because price is not really moving. If we just seen, you know, price moving up, then price moving down, price moving up, price moving down, we could say that it was a fight between the bulls and the bears. But it's not really any price movement. There's no really movement up or down here. We're just kind of just running around in circles, moving back and forth on the spot, right, with the red and the green. So we've only seen in the past, again, few days that we've seen that the bulls taking over, right? So you know, we see this bullish price move, you know, so we can see that it's really bullish when we come to the actual candlesticks, right? So that would be, if we was to look at the overall score in terms of indicators, we actually see that the bearish is winning by one, or the bearish has 1 point on the board because we have the overall price is bearish, but the bulls, they have the moving averages, they have the trend filter, and they have the candlesticks on the most recent time frame. So if we was to call this, we'd have to say that actually the bulls win.
Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer!
So we have a bull win on this chart. However, we don't have full alignment on all of our indicators because overall price movement is still bearish, right? So ideally, we would like to see price here continue in a bullish, you know, continue to trade above the averages. Again, we'll continue to maintain our bullish trend filter, and then obviously we would like to see all as bullish. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you again for Jose Contreras for requesting this review of this chart. Again, if you guys would like to see any other technical analysis reviews, you can check out these videos on screen. And thank you.